Hello everybody, welcome to another tangling session. So we've finished drawing all of our tangles and we're going to go ahead and start adding in some shading, some more depth. And I think I'm going to begin with my Printemps. And I'm going to be using Copic markers. And I'll be going through a few different markers. I like to start off with sort of the lighter ones and move to the ones that are a bit more intense a little bit later. So today I'm out at a lake. There were no benches or tables, so I'm standing for today. My first time ever tangling while standing up. It's not so bad. It'll be a fun experience. So this is N1 in the natural grays. It's just very gentle and light, sets the stage for some of the more intense shading that might go on later depending on how I feel. I'm finding that I tend to mix shading with my Copic markers and shading with graphite. It's all about just getting the exact effect I want. So I usually sort of will go back and forth between the two until I get just what I wanted. It's nice and chilly today, very breezy, to the point of earlier I was contemplating doing my tangle practice indoors because it was just so windy, but I think it's calmed down enough that it won't be disruptive. This marker is just about on its last inky legs. I definitely need to get a refill for this guy soon. I am not sure how I want to shade the Knight's Bridge. I think I just want to add shadow on the edges, and maybe towards the end I will shade the perimeter of this Zendala. I'm not sure. It's just something I'm thinking about. Yeah, this ink is just slowly running out. I might change to the N3 soon so that this guy can have a bit of a break. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and make that switch now, even though I'm not completely done. Time for the N3. So this one's just a little bit darker. It looks so intense, but don't worry, we'll go in. First of all, it does spread a bit on its own, but then I have a blending marker as well. So even though it might be a little bit intense right now, it winds up being quite lovely in the end. Alright. I'm trying to figure out how I want to shade the bunzo in here. I wanted to have some definition without the shading sort of taking over. So I guess what I'm trying, we'll see how it goes, is shading just one side of the bunzo because they're so small. We'll see how it looks and decide if we want to do more later. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. All right, I'm gonna go back in with my my N3 to this Printemps, add a little bit more intensity to that shadow. It does take a bit of sort of getting comfortable with these markers, and even after I've practiced with them for some time, still there are times when I need to do some troubleshooting. Like I said, that's often why I will use both graphite and Copic markers until I can get just the right effect that I want. So a few days ago I had asked if anyone would like that first tile that I finished, and a lovely gal named Sue sent me her address, so that will be going out in the mail on Monday. I'm really excited to send that out. I like sharing my artwork with others. Yep. Next. I also have purchased the Madame Renaissance book on Etsy and have been looking through it to try to wrap my mind around what exactly I want to do. She has some lovely tiles in there that you can practice. She has some lovely step outs for particular patterns that work well on a Renaissance tile. So I'm just sort of trying to figure out, I'm tempted to do a labyrinth. I had done one type of labyrinth and am nearly finished with it. I just have the border to do my highlights and shading on, but once that's done, it's all done. But I was tempted to do another labyrinth. I found an image recently of a cathedral in France whose floor has a labyrinth inlaid in the stone. It's just beautiful. And so I'd love to do the pattern of that labyrinth as a Zentangle string. I've seen that particular pattern done multiple times, and I think I'd have to sort of reduce it a little bit. It's kind of it's rather large because it takes up a fair amount of space on the floor of the cathedral, so I'd have to, I think, take out some of the layers and reduce it down to a bit of a more manageable size. But once I did that, it would be perfectly lovely. So I'm pondering doing another labyrinth using the Madame Renaissance book as inspiration. Oh, there comes the breeze. Off in the distance. calling out to one another. In front of me, behind the trees, is the lake. I can tell people are sort of coming out of their shell once more from all of this quarantine and social distancing. There's quite a few families here taking walks, although the actual facilities are still closed. All right, I think I'm satisfied with that. But I do think I want to add that shadowy border. I sort of already have it on my Printemps and my Bunzo, but I don't have it on the Knightsbridge pattern. So I think I'm just going to add it to that one side. Let's see how I feel about that. And like I said, we'll blend it in later. It won't be as stark once we use the blending marker. I have left all of the rain droplet splatters. I don't mind it. Really, you can't notice unless one points it out, and even then it's kind of fun. Put a more distinct, yep, there we go. Maybe this one a little bit more distinct. Yep, okay. Now I'm going to attempt the N5 that's just a little bit darker. I might find it's too dark. We'll see what happens. All depends on how it turns out. It'll be dark initially, and then it'll blend in later. But it does add a nice deep shadow. Maybe I'll do this one, and then blend and see how we feel about it. Dark. Let's get the blender marker. Let's see what happens with that. Theoretically, Amazon says that my marker refill will come in tomorrow. You know what? I also think graphite would help smooth this out as well. We'll see how it goes. So hopefully this marker that's also sort of running out will be refreshed tomorrow once my refill comes in. I think that looks okay. Okay enough to do it to the other sides? I think so. And then maybe go in later with some graphite to smooth it out even more. so much for joining me for another day of tangling. I hope you have an absolutely lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.